I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the manlistenshow. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency. I saw something where they said that the average age of people in Congress, I don't know if it was just the Senate and the House or if it's just the House or whatever, but they said the average age is 60 years old. So you got a lot of 70 and 80-year-olds who are making policy decisions for this country. And some of them aren't in good health. People had talked about his voting record. I saw where people who were running against him, trying to primary him because of his age, they saw he hadn't even voted in, I think, 4 of the last local elections. How are you an elected official and you're not even voting in your local elections? And, full disclosure, he was one of Lab and I's frat brothers, but, we're still going to talk about this because this impacts us as a community because, when the balance of power in Congress tilts one way or the other, we end up with things like Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away and, Trump getting into office and the Democrats not having the people in Congress because the Republicans had the Senate and they blocked Obama and Trump filled that seat. So I talked about it a lot. Rika, I'm going to go ahead and tee it up for you. Obviously, we talked about age limits, term limits, but more specifically, age limits. What did you think when you saw this news?
Same thing I always think. The Democrats keep making mistakes, but not even just mistakes, the same mistakes. It's like they're not even learning from the mistakes that they made in the past. And that's the part that's really scary because it's like, I mean, at least mess up in new ways so we can be like, okay, we didn't anticipate how this was going to impact us, but we've seen this time and time again where people are so power hungry that they literally die in these positions of power, having not done anything. And he can have a legacy of having made an impact, but not having voted in the last 4 elections. Like, what are you doing? That's like me taking on clients and not showing up to court for them. How long do you think that's going to last? Why do we keep allowing it from the people that are supposed to represent us when our job, they don't even get that many sick days? What do you mean I didn't show up and I didn't perform and I didn't do what was required of me? That's what the job description is. And it's just, we just keep allowing people to do it. And not only that, but who are we electing that that's who you are as a person, that you're so into being this person or holding on to this title that you're willing to let society literally fall? Because what the bill that passed, he could have voted on that, but he didn't. And so here we are. And it's like, we are literally everything is going terribly right now in this country, and we have Democrats who are just making the same mistakes over and over again. It's embarrassing at this point. I mean, the whole country is embarrassing with Trump as our president, but it's looking bad. We have no response. We have no response team. There's not a group of individuals where I'm like, they're gonna pull us out of this. No, we're just down bad with no end in sight. It's terrible.
Yeah. When Lab comes in, Glitch McConnell is 84, and he's still in Congress. I mean, Mitch. No, I meant Glitch.
He's barely still on this earth.
Hey, barely he's still in Congress,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Lad, what you think, man?
No, I mean, similar to Rika, it's something that we've talked about over and over again. And I will say this, and I don't, not to excuse or absolve them, but I don't think this is a political thing per se, because this happens in, everyday walks of life, whether you see it in, companies, people, churches, whatever it is, people staying on too long. But the thing that I started to realize is that, like Erika said, who are we voting for? We're voting for people who they're not really politicians. Well, I take that back. They are politicians. They're career politicians, so that's their career. And so they, if they didn't have that, what else would they do? You know, this guy had held office since like 19 some sort of public office since 1975. I mean, that's
That's longer
50,
than all of us have been alive.
all of us, you know, have been a lot, all of, and that's crazy. You know what? I don't think
I mean,
how,
in one regard, it's commendable, but
yeah.
at some point, you got to hang it up, bro.
At some point, you got to hang it up. You gotta let the succession plan kick in. You gotta, if you're, to me, if you're a good leader, you're grooming someone to fill in behind you. And it shouldn't take you till you're 80 years old to have been in office for 50 years to have developed someone considerably younger who can quite frankly have more energy, more effort, more enthusiasm. Because that's a part of it too, is the younger people usually go for more enthusiastic representatives. People, you know, you see Mondami, how he garnered all this enthusiasm when Obama first ran, how young he was compared to everybody. It just got the young vote out there. And I think that's something that we really need to be thinking about, targeting more young representatives or people who can represent.
I mean, you mentioned one key phrase, succession planning. And, you know, in business, that's important. So when you
Mm-hmm.
put business, I know in the field I'm in, when we decide who we're going to partner with in terms of business, like, okay, before I get into the bed with you, what is your succession plan? If you're a small business, right? So if you have grandpa who founded the business in 19 whatever, right? And he's been the figurehead for the business. He signs all the checks. He dictates, you know, the mission of the company, even if he's more on an advisory role, right? Who's going to take over when he passes away? Because we're all going to go sometime, right? And that's just good business. That's doing your due diligence. Who's going to succeed the person when they have to go? And when you're in your 80s, it's easy to say you got more years behind you than you have ahead of you, right? And there's definitely still funds to be made. You could be a political consultant or just go and enjoy your life because I know you've made enough money, right? But it's the power, it seems, that these people are addicted to. And I think the problem, this is just my opinion, what keeps the Democrats from being organized is because they are more of a coalition than the Republicans are. The Republicans have one thing that unites them. And we know what that is, right? White supremacy. Democrats, you got black people, you got the immigrants, that are that aren't black, right? You got LGBTQIA, you know, and whoever else, and everybody is fighting for their own different um, needs, right, for their community, but they don't come together to be organized to say, listen, this is what we need to do to to retain power. And I've always said the Republicans, especially under MAGA, they have done a really good job of looking at the future, putting policy actions into place, and being strategic about what they want to do to retain power. They put young people on the Supreme Court, right? Because they knew we need to be able to do this. They are targeting young white men to say, hey, listen, you guys are being forgotten. You guys are going to be wiped out. When have white men ever not been in power or be able to do what the fuck they want to do, right? But they sit there and say, listen, they're going to replace you. And that's when you got the Charlie Kirks and the Turning Point USA. They're much more strategic in targeting not only their base, but the young people in their base. And it doesn't seem like the Democrats can figure it out. Now, I'm pro-black, and I recognize that it's in my best interest to vote for the Democrats. Sometimes I think the Democrats are in on it because you can't be this damn stupid all the time. You can't be this inept all the time, right? So, I mean, I would just like to see them somebody be able to say, you know what, who can we even say is the leader of the Democratic Party?
Kim Jeffries. Yeah.
Please, please. You got Hakeem Jeffries, you got Schumer, right? You got now Pelosi was an effective leader.
Mm-hmm.
Pelosi wasn't effective. Howard Dean was a effective leader. They got rid of him because we did that little crazy shit, but he was an effective leader, right? You got AOC, Hakeem Jeffries. Who else?
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom. Most people don't even know who Gavin Newsom is. He's from California. They know who he is. And he out here messing up, talking about, I'm just like you. I can't pass the test. I'm dyslexic. Motherfucker, I can read.
I think like you said, the power, but I also, like I said, it's one of them deals where nobody is gonna vote to get rid of their own job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're never going to take the extreme stance that we want them to take or that we would love for them to take when they need to, because they're putting themselves in jeopardy. And so that's where the term limits, not just age limits. I think term limits, because if you can milk this for 50 years, and like you said, Erika, we don't get near that. How many days a year do they actually work? You get your travels paid for, you travel around,
Health insurance.
health insurance, all that stuff, got a pension, if you can milk that for 50 years, I mean, who wouldn't, right? You know what I mean? Without really putting yourself in harm's way, because some of these seats, quite frankly, they're not going to lose. They're not going to lose the seat, because it's kind of like this district. I know your grandma, I know your mom, I know, and everybody there, they're going to vote for me because I've just always been what they know.
You got Jim Clyburn,
Mm-hmm.
who is a leader in the Democratic Party. He had been grooming his daughter to succeed him.
Yeah.
Jim Clyburn is 85. Jim Clyburn is 85.
So his daughter probably 65, 60. They ain't like she a spring chicken.
He's 85. And he was supposed to be grooming his daughter, but he said, you know what, got you. I'm gonna run again for an 18th time at 85.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, when these baby boomers die off, like, obviously I don't wish any harm to y'all's grandma and grandpa, but when these boomers die
All
off,
mine is dead. All mine is dead, man.
it's going to change mine too. It's going to
Yeah.
change so much. It's going to really like change the landscape of this country, because I think that a lot of us in our generation realize that I don't want to be working till 85. I don't want to have power over stuff that's not even something that I can really like find relevancy in, because like
Mm-hmm.
even like just today, my daughter was in this step show thing. I was tired just watching them. No, I don't want to be running around and jumping around and doing stuff, but I want it to get done.